Hello everybody and welcome to Hobbyist Fish Keeper. I am Will and today's video is going to be on UV filters or UV sterilizers as they are known. So this one here is the Waze Cleartronic 11, which I've purchased a few weeks back to go along with my Waze canister filter, but more on this one in a second. So the question is, what is a UV filter, what does it do, and do we actually need it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you over to the tank behind me because that will help explain some of the things that I'm going to be going through and help demonstrate on this tank. So by the powers of editing. So as you can see, my tank is extremely filthy at the moment. There's some remnants of a cyano bloom that I had, there's some remnants of a dinoflagellates bloom that I had, and then we've got the immense algae coverage that is in the tank at the moment. We'll just can you see it on the glass there and also on the sand. There's my tomato clowns looking nice, and my bubble tip over here looking good. You've already been fed today, so no more food for you. So UV filters or UV sterilizers, what do they do? How do they do it? Well, they use UV light to kill and mutate microorganisms living in your water column. Microorganisms such as bacteria, diseases, viruses, algae, and so on. Now, you need to be aware that this isn't going to kill or help you eradicate any organisms that are living or attached to anything. So as you can see in this tank at the moment, I've got quite a lot of algae and cyano and some diatoms, some dinos attached to the rocks. Now, a UV filter will not get rid of that. It will only help to get rid of things that are in your water column that will pass through your filter and pass through the UV light. So anything attached to anything, even down to viruses, so such as ick, white spot, if it's attached to your fish, it's not going to help get rid of that. But when the ick leaves a fish and tries to multiply in the water column to attach to other fish, hopefully then your filter will suck it through, it will go through the UV sterilizer and it will get zapped with the UV light, and it will be mutated so that it can't reproduce. Well, how does it work? Well, it uses a special kind of bulb, and let me just grab this one here. Can you see it? Is it on the camera? There we go. That is a UV bulb surrounded by a glass chamber. It's a quartz glass chamber, so the water will come in the UV sterilizer and pass over this, and it will get zapped by, it's what's called a germicidal fluorescent light, and it's at a specific scientific wavelength. And if it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, I am absolutely talking crap. I had to Google this to make it sound like I'm intelligent, but I am not. So there you go, I've done my homework, so you don't need to, you can just watch this little video. So as the microorganisms pass over the light penetrates the organism's cells and it mutates its DNA, preventing it from growing or multiplying. Now don't worry, it's not going to mutate and turn into like the X-Men or the Ninja Turtles or anything like that. No matter how hard you try and get Donatello to emerge from your tank, it's not going to work. Now in terms of safety though, don't look at this bulb if it is turned on and out of its chamber. I repeat, do not look at this bulb if it is out of this chamber. If you look directly at this, you are at risk of harming yourself, because if it can harm and mutate microorganisms, it's going to harm you and mutate you as well. Now, it may mutate you, i.e. it would cause severe skin issues or blindness, but it's not going to turn you into Wolverine. Again, no matter how hard you try, it's not going to mutate you into Wolverine. But it will severely damage your eyesight or your skin if you are looking directly at the bulb. Most UV filters do have a safety mechanism so that If it is not sealed, the bulb will not work, and it will have a light indicator to let you know that the bulb is working, so it'll let you know when you need to change the bulb as well, without having to poke your eyes in there and going blind. Most sterilizers will degrade, most sterilizing bulbs will degrade over time, so obviously will be less effective and efficient. So I suggest replacing the bulbs, say every 6 to 12 months. Yeah, every 6 to 12 months. Now the bulbs aren't too expensive, to be honest. When I've been doing my homework on this one, they're between 11 and 15 pounds from Amazon, any of the well-known websites, and eBay as such. Now I have the Wase inline sterilizer, so that means that I will basically cut a gap in my hose from my intake on my filter, and I will insert it in the middle of that so the water gets sucked in, passes over the UV light, and then goes straight into my canister filter. But you can get canister filters that do have them built in. I used to have a All Pond Solutions one that had a UV sterilizer built in, All Pond Solutions stroke Sun for everywhere else in the world. That was a 1200 litres per hour filter, and to be honest, from start to finish, it never let me down once, and then one day it did go kaput. But for the price of it, it was kind of at a disposable price anyway. If you got more than 12 months out of it, you're onto a winner with that one. Now, the big question, do you need one? The simple answer is no, you don't. Hobbyists have coped for many years without having them in their aquariums. It's a relatively new thing for home aquariums. Obviously, big mainstream aquariums like SeaWorld and that, they've been using them for years. People, big fish farms and things, they will have been using them for years, but this is kind of a relatively new thing for a home aquarium, so you don't need one as such. The next question is, I suppose, is it beneficial to have one? Well, the answer to that one is extremely beneficial, and if you don't have a quarantine tank that you're able to stick your fish in to quarantine them when you buy them, and then if you don't have one and you're sticking it straight into your aquarium, I suggest that you get a UV sterilizer. Now, it's not going to prevent absolutely everything, but it will help help the spread of certain things if they do happen to leak into your tank when adding new fish. I suppose my final thought on this is a UV sterilizer essential? It's not that essential, but if you have the funds and you have the space, then I think you should invest. This will definitely not fix everything, and it is not an excuse not to do maintenance at all, but it will help keep control over many different little issues. It will help you keep control over things like algae, bacteria, any kind of fish disease. So it will help you keep control over your little fish universe in a box, I suppose. So I suppose you're asking, well, if I'm saying you don't need one, it's not essential, then why did I buy one, Will? Well, the first thing is I can't resist a bargain when I'm shopping on eBay at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I see that that Wase one, which is a perfect match for my filter, advertised at I think it was 70 quid best offer. I put a little cheeky £45 in and it got accepted, plus another, I think it was £13 for the replacement bulb. I cannot resist a bargain at all, so no, that got snapped up. And the reason I was looking at 3 o'clock in the morning for one of these was because, as you can see from my tank, I had an extreme outbreak of everything, and this is my final finishing touches to my defences in my tank. I will be doing another video on cyano, dino and algae, and this is just part of my defence line against those. So I hope it's been helpful. I hope I don't sound like too much of a douche, but once again, thanks for joining me. If you're not a regular subscriber, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much for joining me again, and I'll see you all again soon. Cheers!